Good morning and thank you for starting your Wednesday with us. I'm Kyle Louder.
And I'm Faith Justice. So glad to be with you this morning. We start with some good news in Fire Watch. Crews have stopped forward progress on the Oling fire burning near Wadsworth, and all evacuations have been lifted.
So this fire started yesterday afternoon in the Story County and Truckee Meadows jurisdiction. Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue says it has burned about 25 acres. It is now 30% contained. No buildings have been destroyed and no injuries have been reported. The cause is currently unknown, and we will of course keep you all updated as we continue to learn more. And ahead of what could be a very busy fire season, the Bureau of Land Management is warning people about how unsafe target shooting could potentially spark serious blazes. Now, the BLM Fire Management Officer, Jonathan Palma, says before shooting, always be aware of weather conditions, as that can be a key factor in what causes a fire to break out and then spread.
Try not to shoot on hot, windy, dry days. Those are, again, a lot of the days that we see fires start. And if you do, just practice safe shooting.
And to make sure you're being safe while shooting, Palma recommends you shoot in areas without vegetation and bring a shovel and water that can help put out any fire that does spark.
Next week, the City of Reno and the Reno Fire Department are inviting the community to share their thoughts on the 2026 Wildfire Protection Plan. The plan is meant to identify and limit wildfire hazards to communities. It makes recommendations for hazardous fuels reduction, public outreach and education, and fire response capacity, among other things. A meeting is happening next Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Reno City Hall's council chambers.
And lots of people will be out barbecuing and lighting campfires for Memorial Day weekend, and some also use this weekend to launch summer festivities like taking out the boats, floating on the river. But before you do any of that, Reno Fire Department is reminding everyone of the importance of staying safe.
With the snow runoff, that water is still very, very cold. So we want to be very mindful that to begin with, we want to make sure everybody knows where we're at, especially when we're in some of these high hazardous areas. So we want to make sure we have good communications with our family members and our friends.
That's Fire Marshal John Beck, and he also says not only should you let people know your beginning and your end point, but also never float on the river by yourself. He tells us to check the weather before starting a barbecue or campfire in case winds are expected to pick up, and keep recreational fires at least 10 feet away from any structures. He also wants to remind everyone that fireworks are illegal in Washoe County.
And hey, the river, those campgrounds going to be popular this weekend, especially if we check in with meteorologist Barrett Vinson in our Stormwatch Weather Center. Sounds like it's going to be great outside.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm weekend, a great weekend to kind of kick things off going into the summer. It'll feel like summer temperatures, that's for sure. But the warmest day of the week so far, at least the work week in store today. And speaking of those winds picking up, that'll be tomorrow. We'll be watching out for increased wind gusts tomorrow. Clear skies out there so far this morning, 48 degrees, so cool and calm so far, but the warmest day of the week in store today with sunshine, and then winds pick up tomorrow and Friday, so do keep that in mind. 70s to go about your lunch hour, and then 80s shortly after that, the warmest part of the day right around 4 p.m. So do keep that in mind. Stay hydrated out there. 70s return tomorrow and Friday. That's when winds start to crank up, and then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Memorial Day weekend in the 80s. 87 for the high ends on Sunday, so stay hydrated, like I said. For the UV forecast, sunscreen will be your friend. 10 out of 10 today, so after 10 a.m., put on the sunscreen. As far as those wind gusts this afternoon, typical wind gusts between 15 to 25 mile an hour, right around this time of year is what we normally see with those winds. And then these will crank up tomorrow in the afternoon, between 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts expected off to those areas in the red, and those will probably push down to lower elevations and wind prone areas like the Washoe Valley. So expect a bit of a breezy day tomorrow. And then as far as temperatures are concerned, they'll be increasing today and then dropping off tomorrow. Clear skies on the satellite and radar, and that'll be the case throughout the day with sunshine to look forward to.
Sounds good. Thanks, Barrett. A story for you here in Crime Beat. A man is facing up to 35 years in prison after being convicted of attempting to lure a child online for sex. The Washoe County District Attorney's Office says in 2023, 54-year-old Keith Riley sent sexual messages to someone he thought was a 15-year-old girl online. The messages were actually being sent to an undercover detective with the Human Exploitation and Trafficking Unit. He'll be sentenced in August.
School police were called to Reno High School after a person who had not checked in at the office was seen on campus. The Washoe County School District says it happened yesterday morning. According to a phone call sent out to families of students, no students were involved in the incident, and the person was eventually taken into custody. And school did operate as normal the rest of the day.
Still to come on 2 News Nevada this morning. Authorities are still looking for 5 inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail. Why one former worker at the jail has been arrested.